we expect a few of those here and there. Oh, right, really? Interesting. So, interesting stuff going on there. Look, you can see my other device on the studio here that we're broadcasting from, Jimmy.
Yes.
On hands, maybe? Yes. Yes, good. That's Jimmy, everyone. We're about to get ShineCast underway. Interesting. Something's just happened, and okay, I've learned something new. That's always a good thing. Right. Press the magic button there. Too many magic buttons at the moment. We'll be checking the chat very shortly. So anyone leaving comments, we love your comments. That's what this is all about, of course. And yeah, do join us. Have your say. Interesting. All right, Jimmy, are you standing by with your microphone, your headset, headphones, and your glass and your bottle?
Yeah.
Excellent. I'll just double check something here. Lovely. And in these beta times, beta, just going to try something here as well. Double check it before we roll the titles. Now that's interesting too.
Gandhi Japandi.
Oh, it's Gandhi Japandi, yeah. Oh, good luck to you. Lovely, lovely. I'm hearing myself back, Jimmy, from you for some reason. I think it's...
No, what's that? Oh, that's good.
Yeah, hold on just a second. So we're not on there, but if I press that magic button there on our device...
Oh, they changed it.
Well, they've had an upgrade, apparently. So they say. Herps has had an upgrade. Right, so we've got that. I'm just trying to find myself around the platform and double check stuff, but it's still not as user friendly as I would like it to be.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Almost. I'm just double checking that we're...
Hey, give me a second then. Give me a second. I'll be right back.
Oh, well, okay.
I mean, just give me a second, okay?
Excuse me, everybody who's tuned in at this time. And any time for that matter, if you're on the replay, thanks for joining us. I'm just double checking a couple of things here, but as always, the servers are not responding as you would like them to on the platform, so it's very, very slow and painful at the moment here. Trying to connect. Then you end up having to give up. Hey, is Gandhi Japandi still there? Possibly. Oh yeah, ahoy there indeed. Just seen the comment as we try and muddle through the technical mess that we have to deal with at the moment.
Okay, I got an interesting prop for today.
Excellent. I shall ask you to remind me about that once we've just resolved this problem here, which is it's really simple. The app is so slow. You know, I know ideally you should have a fast internet connection, and ideally you should have the best digital device in the world, but you know, most people haven't, so there's no point in designing a road solely for Ferraris where most people don't have those. They have to accommodate everything else, and yeah, I know what I mean, and that's the main thing. Right, we've sorted out one thing here, which is good. We've got that rocking rolling there, that there. Okay, Jimmy, just final steps before we get today underway. I forgot about that. Right. Cool. All Right, let's do this, everybody. Jimmy's ready. I'm ready, and today is Friday, February 5. And have I pixelated on there for you, Jimmy?
No, you look fine.
I do. That's interesting. I'm just going to see.
You know what? Here's the thing: in the main
I'm
half
just going to
screen, you
listen.
look fine.
It was only the yes or no. I'm just going to listen back.
But you are pixelated in the side screen. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
I don't like a definitive answer, and then someone has to kind of backtrack. It really is
because I was looking at you directly, and you were fine. But then when I looked to the side, you're pixelated.
So you should hold your answer until you. Can you imagine if you were trying to launch that missile, and they went on your first word?
Well,
right.
You shouldn't be launching a missile haphazardly.
Ouch.
Get it? Did you hear?
Right. Yeah, I did. Yeah. Ouch. Ouch. Oh goodness. I wonder if Gandhi Japan is still watching on Twitter, where that comment came from.
So wait,
right.
is he from Japan? It says Japandi.
Right.
And his Japanese flag.
So anything that ends in Japandi. Okay, I didn't realise that. But that's a good. You'll find out soon, I'm sure, as we continue. Colin Porter's in the house. Thank you for joining us, Colin. We're about to set sail here and begin ShineCast. So do join us. Let's just get a couple of things in order here. We'll press that magic button there, and then after that, I've got to make sure. Oh dear, trust me, the complications here are just cool. Right, let's get that one there. Okay, Jimmy, I'm ready. Should we do this?
Yeah, let's do it.
And clear.
Hello. You were on mute.
Hello.
You were on mute. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning.
We could always do
Good
this
night.
again.
No, we're done. Let's roll it. Let's roll.
I think
Hi, Colin.
so. Yes. I was just reminding everyone that it's the 5th of February 2021. It's a Friday, which means it is ShineCast. Colin's with us, apparently, watching on which platforms, Colin, watching on? It is indeed HAPS itself. Yeah, for those that aren't aware, haps.tv, head over there and you can join in the conversation and, well, not just chat by typing, possibly. If you really want to have your say, we can have you on here if you have a microphone, certainly. If not, a camera in your digital device, whichever one you're using. Colin's saying no. No to oh, you lost audio. I see. Right, lovely. Thank you for that, Colin, for the heads up, so to speak. It is good to be here, as you say, and of course, everyone can see what indeed you are saying. If you see that things are changing here all the time, and because of that, you've got to keep up to speed and remember the new changes and things like that. And but the trouble is, though, I mean, hearing myself back sometimes as the titles were rolling, it was a bit glitchy what I was hearing, so I almost didn't know when to switch to my camera. Oh, it's all happening, and well, hopefully, as I say, things are improving. There is a new mobile app for HAPS. You can download it from iOS or Android, but I think they've still got a way to go compared to other services available that we use at the moment, actually, here at ShineCast for various projects. Anyway, Jimmy, how's your week been?
My week's been great. It's been pretty good. Yeah.
Busy? Busy.
Nothing out of the ordinary. I got a few. Well, here I got something to show you. Look at that. I just got this in the mail. Another British crown.
Another coin.
Another British crown, but this has got. Can you see?
I can't. It's very strange. I'm just double checking here. It seems to be. Could it be Elton John by any chance?
It's Elton John. Elton John.
It's amazing, exactly. Just by the glasses and the hat that I just.
Exactly. It's an
sort of
Elton
clicked
John. It's
onto
an Elton
there
John.
in my head.
Silver
Yeah.
Crown.
Funnily enough, I was thinking about him recently, and I hadn't seen much of him in any way on news and what was happening over the pandemic. I think there was a little news item featuring Sir Elton John around about summertime 2020, but he was on the news just in the last 48 hours. So that was good to see. Colin is loving the backdrop now. Which backdrop, Colin? Because there's two of us on the screen at the moment. Possibly my backdrop, because
Probably
Jimmy's
yours.
yeah, Jimmy hasn't got the hang of green screen yet. I know it's a green screen, but the whole point of green screen, Jimmy,
is to have a green screen.
Well, you know, all the technicalities we're not going to go into right now. But
Cheers.
yeah, Dean's with us again this week. Hello, Dean. Thanks for joining us. Lovely stuff. So yeah, I wonder how it's been where you are, Dean, and for that matter, Colin. You have to remind us where you are, people, without me looking into your profiles.
Colin,
just because I look at your profile and see where you are on your profile, you might be somewhere else at the moment. Who knows? Although it is locked down, certainly in the UK, still at the latest third lockdown. But really, when you look outside, so many people just out and about, treating it as though it's not even a pandemic right now. Edinburgh, do we see? Is in
Lincolnshire. Colin's in Lincolnshire.
Oh, no, I was talking about Fraser Ramsey's just joined us in the meantime from Scotland. Hello, Fraser. Thanks for joining us. Lovely to see you. If any of you want to join in the chat, please let us know and we can accommodate that. If you're watching on HAPS, and we can invite you. So there you have it. Afternoon, lads, says Fraser. Absolutely. Same back to you. And hopefully it's not too cold in Scotland where you are in Edinburgh at the moment. I watched the weather forecast. I didn't recall seeing snow, but I didn't see it. I'm assuming you have had snow up there. We haven't in London in the last, for a while, but certainly in the last 24 hours, the north of England has seen plenty of snow. So that's why I think Fraser might be looking out to some white from his windows right now. Unless it's melted, of course. Yeah. So, Jimmy, what are we drinking today?
Drinking, I think I've drank this before here. It's a Chianti.
Okay, yeah.
I'm looking a little sluggish today, huh? A little pixelated.
Well, this is why I've got so many questions and question marks about the HAPS app. You've given me the opportunity again we want to be positive here. We have to be. Why shouldn't we? Well, because, tell you why. Because at the moment, when we're speaking with a lot of people here, they're pretty much saying you need a really juicy digital device, computer, desktop ideally, to actually broadcast with no issues. Yeah, but most people haven't got that. So why design something that has to use high-end tools in order to achieve something towards a high-end product?
Well, I think it was just for a few seconds, Martin. It's not like I don't have a high-end tool. I just have a regular laptop here.
Yeah, but my point is that, as I explained, and if you're listening, I've been the more people that I'm speaking with, they remind me that the reason they're having no problems, certainly with their hardware, is because they're using high-end hardware. We're talking about i9.
i9, yeah. But you've been looking good the past few times. Last week you were looking really good too.
But the problem, you see, I'm just waiting for the hardware. You see, yeah. To finish my point, though, you know, these days, a lot of platforms such as Periscope, which is now being, as you know, sunset in the next few weeks, as we say this in early 2021, you know, people are broadcasting from their mobile telephones. In fact, it's probably a better experience in some cases compared to your desktop. If you don't if you have a MacBook, an iMac, you know, the average specs, it's just not good enough for HAPS, you know, and all the other platforms, Facebook Live, even the professional ones such as Switcher Studio, which uses iOS devices, mobile phones, cell phones, iPads, okay? And then you have Wirecast and plenty of other platforms. OBS, a lot of people will be familiar with because it's a freebie.
Yeah, I got OBS.
Yeah, well, it works on most laptops happily. Certainly if you're just using one camera and one microphone. HAPS does not. So I think they do need to go back to the drawing board somewhat, because putting aside the general glitches you have with a new product, you know, I don't think that the foundations are ideal. That's my opinion anyway. But then I'm glad I'm not involved because it is a huge undertaking, of course, when it
Actually,
comes to
Dean is mentioning something that I didn't know, so that makes a little bit more sense. If that is
right.
actually what it was the case.
Mm-hmm.
What does he
Would you like
say
to
here?
tell everyone?
Yes, exactly. In particular, since their original purpose was for mobiles to gather eyewitness news by the public without editorializing. Oh, so that was originally the case, huh? Yeah.
And of course, Colin Porter's also mentioned that he struggles as well with broadcasting, but that's down to your internet speed. Well, that's exactly why I didn't really take too much notice there, Colin, of what Jimmy was reminding me how the quality of these broadcasts has improved, because originally we had an internet connectivity problem, but that's pretty much, I say, resolved. Just currently monitoring the situation, but I'm on top of that issue now. I knew it existed. We've kind of resolved it, and at least if there does become a problem during this broadcast, for example, I know where to look at first of all to try and rectify the situation. However, that doesn't put aside the ongoing issues that we shouldn't worry about. As I've said recently, I'm trying to remember who it was I was speaking with, who broadcast from Ireland. He might have enjoyed us in the broadcast. Can't remember his name now. But anyhow, the point I was making when it comes to being a broadcaster is that you have to remember the content, and then suddenly something happens while you're in full flow, so it sort of distracts you from what you were saying, and you have to attend to that problem, such as an internet modem that might be failing on you. So you've got to resolve that. Then you've got to remember what you're speaking about and respond to people's comments as well. It is actually quite it's a very taxing job on the old mind, if nothing else. And it does, we had a couple of broadcasts recently where there was a bit of anxiety. Shouldn't have been anything like the problems we had. And it was being caused, again, there's a glitch. For example, here's one that a lot of people don't remind you or inform you about, is that when you're broadcasting on your desktop, no matter what machine you have, often there's a big, thick white line that just flashes up there. Now, you have to think to yourself, as a broadcaster, a multi-skilled person, and therefore you have to be taking care of the technical side of things and making sure they don't fail immediately or in the future. You have to say, is that line, that glitch, is it the browser you're using overall? Is it just that tab that you may have open on your browser and the HAPS interface? Is it your motherboard starting to fail, or your graphics card? Well, it transpires after I've spoken with a lot of people, because originally I thought, it must be a problem that I'm having, because no one else seems to have these issues. But plenty of people are reporting, yes, they do see a white banner just quickly flash on the screen, and it's very disconcerting. Yeah, you've seen it, I'm sure, before as well, Jimmy.
No,
hello to London.
I haven't.
Hello to you. Thanks for joining. You haven't? Well, you're not missing much, but it does happen there. Swift Beats has joined us from London. Again, anyone wants to join us, you're more than welcome. Just let us know, and we will invite you here. So there we have it. Yeah. Joking aside, said Fraser. What was he joking aside about? I'm confused about that one, but then I should have picked up on that comment earlier. See, that's another thing as well, having to bring up the comments at the right time, again, while we're in full flow and having a chat. But hey, have a chat with us directly, then there won't be any delay when it comes to you feeding back to us. Please do share, like, and follow as well here on ShineCast. Great things happening as HAPS develops and as we continue to broadcast on the platform, as well as Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and other interesting places. Jimmy, you wanted us to be on Twitch, didn't you? But unfortunately, we can't do that at the moment. I think Twitch have taken away the option to broadcast on their platform unless you originate the content using their producer and their back end. Yeah. Excuse me, which is ironic, because only probably about a year ago, certainly a good few months ago.
Martin disappeared. That must be a connection problem.
No, you can still hear me. You see,
I can hear you. Yeah, I heard you.
Flashed. We'll just wait for it to settle down again.
Yeah.
Just wait for it to settle down again. Let's see what happens on the replay, because we've got that. Did you see what happened there, Jimmy? You lost me.
Well, I didn't see a white flash, but you disappeared for a second.
Yeah. And I'm telling you now, as far as I'm concerned, that is HAPS infrastructure, not my internet connection. It's happening far too often on different internet connectivity and on different devices, and I know other people have reported this as well, and I have to say it's pretty shocking. They use Amazon web servers, and again, it's no easy task to make something like this happen, all right, and realize such a platform. But it's, when you're a serious broadcaster or trying to be, it is very disconcerting. It's very uncomfortable. And I certainly want people to know that, we've done all we can in terms of investing time, equipment as well. That's when it's very frustrating as well. You have everything in place, but still there's problems. There we go. It's the HAPS desktop bug, says Swift Beats. Oh, what, the fact that I just cut out and then came back again? The worst thing is, we were broadcasting recently and you cut out on your desktop, and by the time you come back, the system times out. And I realize it has to do that, and then your broadcast has ended. But it has to time out. Why? Because if you are kicked out of your broadcast for whatever reason, maybe your internet connection goes down on that occasion, so it's not a HAPS issue, then when you try to go back into HAPS, if they don't disconnect you automatically after a certain time from their servers, you won't be able to restart another broadcast on your channel, and on your account, because the old one will still be connected, the old broadcast, physically, technically, even if your camera's not connected and your microphone from your device, it's effectively like having a busy signal, an engaged tone on your landline telephone in the old days, you see. So it has to disconnect after a certain amount of time. I get that, but it's so frustrating when there's so many various problems at the moment they're not stable. And I know it's in beta mode, but you can only sort of put up with things in beta mode as a user. Either way, either someone who delivers content, creates it, or consumes it, before you have to start thinking, well, is this going to work out or not? Should I go somewhere else? Just saying. Any thoughts, Jimmy?
I'm looking at the comments here. What is this? Swift Beats. What, invited to where? Like we're having a party? Is that what he means?
Not sure, but I'll pick up on the comment there from Chris. Hello, Chris. Thanks for joining us. Lovely to see you there. As you know, I was down in your part of the world a few days ago, at the beginning of the week. I'll pick up on that. Chris says that Twitch is primarily for gamers in any case. Well, yes, it always was. That's right. But I did sidetrack, but more recent months, they wanted to categorize content, and they opened up one area called IRL, which is in real life, and they wanted people on there a bit like the very early days where people were broadcasting as live broadcasters, and this is before webcams were built into laptops. People were carrying around a laptop with an external webcam. This is how a lot of this stuff began. So, like on Facebook Live, and what it was called, Justin.tv was the URL, which Justin Can, who is a main part, certainly was when it started up, Twitch. But
yeah, I just watch my friend on Twitch, but that's all. Yeah, it's just games. Yeah. Sure. So what's going on here in the comments section here?
You carry on looking at those, but I just want to finish by saying that the thing about Twitch is they suddenly promoted the IRL section. They wanted more people broadcasting their everyday lives and topics around all of that. But then suddenly they stopped you broadcasting from multicasting, but you've got to use their platform and log into Twitch if you want to broadcast there. That's also something, by the way, that for me it's a problem, certainly here on HAPS, but as I've spoken with Pablo and Peter recently in their little techie chats and updates, they're going to be introducing a way that you can broadcast to HAPS if you want to from another software such as OBS. That'll be happening. At the moment, people are using OBS to produce on HAPS, but you have to use something called the virtual webcam. So the video you're looking at is being captured in a digital way, not actually by a webcam, and a bit like a screen capture kind of thing, and then rebroadcast on HAPS. But there's a far better way using RTMP directly, and that's much better for us because we can use an external encoder, and then your machine CPU isn't overloaded. But even so, again, I repeat, if you're using the broadcast studio interface, which is part of HAPS at the moment, your CPU really shouldn't be as hard driven as it seems to be by the HAPS interface. Jimmy, you sort of disappeared there. Did you disappear yourself, possibly? Did you take yourself off the screen, maybe?
Sure.
You did? Okay, no, I wasn't sure about that. So Okay. Okay. Now I understand. We can bring you back. I think.
Yeah. So what's going on here? So on the comments.
Not at the moment, Swiftly. Got to see my kids. Oh, I see they're having a good old chat. But I love it when people have a chat between each other. While this is all going on, it's pretty good like that. Any comments out there regarding the development of Haps, people? I know it's in beta mode. But they say beta mode in the USA, and of course over here in the UK, it's always been beta. Okay, beta mode, and that used to be the same, of course, when you had videotape, VHS or Betamax. But no one ever understood me in the USA. The thing about Betamax is you had the home version, but that actually stemmed from the broadcast version, which was Beta Cam or Beta Cam, as it's called in the US. Jimmy, you keep disappearing, and I don't know what's going on there, but I can certainly keep bringing you back if I have to. Strange that. No, you were just kicked off. Did you not do anything?
No.
There you go. Failed joining. Now, there are issues. If we disappear, everyone.
What does it say here in the comments here? It Haps likes eating the battery and data? SwiftBeats will come in and chat if you invite him.
Yeah, you can see that.
So SwiftBeats, where's SwiftBeats from? Where is he from?
Planet Earth.
He's wanting to talk. What do you want to talk about, SwiftBeats?
Well,
he's in London.
We'll find out when he joins us.
Music producer, composer. That's interesting.
Yeah, for a moment I thought it was Colin that was wanting to join, but just hold the line and hold the line. What am I saying here? Getting carried away. Right. Let's see. See, what there should be in the comments section is a way that we can click on someone who's commented to just automatically invite them to join, and there is, and they've implemented that. So this is. Hang on a second.
Oh, here you go. We got.
Yeah. Drum roll, please, everyone. All right. He's a great guy. Yes. So I've heard. I've seen.
You're all great guys. You're all great guys. Okay. Don't forget. Give yourselves a round of applause. You're all great guys.
There we go. Right. Well, I do believe that Mr. Swift Beats in London has indeed been invited. Be interesting to hear your comments, views, and all that sort of stuff, particularly as a music producer and composer. And I'm assuming that you also deal with live events. I'd like to know how that's going at the moment. Please follow Chris Porter, inspiring and great guys.
Let me follow you. I follow you all. If whoever's commenting, I'm gonna follow you all. How about that?
Jimmy, you're looking at the broadcast studio, aren't you, at the moment on Haps, yeah? So where you see the main program, you can see that from time to time you or I pixelate. It's not doing that. I can see it. Yeah. But it's not doing that on the broadcast, which is very disconcerting. The whole point of seeing yourself in program mode on the broadcast studio is in any live production studio, television or corporate video, is so that you can see, what's happening. And what you see there is what people see. Well, you never have a situation where the picture is worse, okay, for us, the producers or directors or presenters in a studio situation than it is when people are watching. But it is the case here. And that's one thing they need to resolve. There are two options. We can either watch it before or after the feed has hit the server. But anyway, we have Swift Beats about to join us as I press this magic button right here. Hello to you.
Location. No location. Why is he suddenly no location? I thought we were in London.
It's in London.
Well, I looked at his profile. Yeah. Now he's hiding. It says no location. I'm in no location. No location.
Hello, Swift Beats. Thanks for joining us here on ShineCast. That's myself, Martin Shine, Jimmy Heaven in Japan. And if we just hold back for a moment, we'll allow you to talk now and tell us all about yourself, Swift Beats. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much for inviting me as a guest. My name's Swift Beats. I'm from UK, London. I'm a music producer, composer, and a tech-savvy person, like 3D printing, design my own merch and stuff. What else? Yeah, just spreading positive vibes around the world and collaborating with everyone on Haps and all social media and stuff like that. Yeah.
And how's it working out for you in the digital sort of domains at the moment?
Especially now
in London and the rest of the UK. Yeah, right now. Yeah, with the pandemic.
It's been very I know, like with lockdown, I prefer like the outside and just you know going on out and about. I miss that, but during lockdown, I've been doing a lot of creative and utilizing that in the digital world, making projects, creating new like music, and helping campaigning against like different things, that projects that people want are interested in, like global warming, plastic in the ocean, stuff like that.
Sure.
So yeah,
So
Keeping you busy, certainly. Can I just say,
it's been a very busy, creative kind of thing.
let me
right?
ask you: was it like, are you able to sustain yourself? That's the most interesting to me thing to me now is that world is changing. So a lot of people are working in the physical world, and a good percentage of still has to work in the physical world as far as production and service goes. But a large part of the was it population are part of like moving forward in the future is coming into a space like this, and actually this is where we make a living, and me included. That's how I make a living. I'm at home 90% of the time, so I'm wondering, like, what do you do? I mean, I know you're a music producer. Is that what you do professionally? And if that is so, I mean, what's the situation, especially now? Are you going to do this stuff online? Is that you're doing recording and then somebody sends you vocals and then you do that, or what's the situation? What do you do exactly? I mean, I'm wondering.
Yeah, sure, that's fine. Before I used to have like a day job and stuff, and
Doing what? Doing
just
what? Doing
be
what? Doing what?
like because I'm not signed to I'm not signed to a record label or anything like
But
that.
day
So I
job. What
just
was
do
the
all
day
work
job?
independently and stuff.
What was the day job?
It was more like working in a retail kind of job where IT and like networking and computer related kind of
It was a
business
retail
happening.
job, but IT. I mean, what is that? I mean, you're talking about your sales in. Was it a?
Maplins,
What is that?
Maplins,
What's Matlins? Is that English?
Maplins,
I'm sorry. I'm. It's my
Map,
ignorance,
Map.
but what is that? Maplins.
Yeah, Matt Pins used to be an electronics
Yeah,
store in the
Ah,
UK.
okay, okay.
You know what it's like, unfortunately, Swift Beats. We have to kind of interpret, don't we? Even though we talk in a common language, it gets misinterpreted sometimes until you
Okay,
say
okay.
it was a bit like
yeah.
Radio Shack in the USA.
Oh, okay, but that's almost gone now. So you were doing
Almost.
that. You were doing that now. But what is the situation with a business like that now? I mean, you said IT also, so I'm wondering, was it what kind of
Yeah,
situation is
because
it?
I was specializing in especially in the mappings. I had a lot of customers coming up and saying, "How do I set up my computer gaming side of PC to connect with my audio setup, with my microphone?" We had some guitarists and musicians, singer-songwriters coming in and saying, "How do I do that?" Or even network and stuff like that. Like, how do I set up my smart, you know, streaming thing to the TV and things like that.
Okay, so
So
you're
I
like a
was telling
techie.
them,
You're kind of like a techie. Was it a guy all around?
yeah, yeah, I'm all around like basically tech savvy kind of thing, telling them how to use Google and also how to use the system where you can just if there's an app called IFTT, and
Uh
what
huh.
you can do is with the app you can control multiple different devices, so you can customize it. Like, let's say I want, when I come home, I want Google, when I say the keyword, it will turn on my lights, turn on the heating, and switch play some nice relaxing music or something like that,
Okay.
Yeah,
How,
all in
how
that's
how
one
is that now?
code.
How is that now? Like, I'm just wondering, because to me that sounds like this is totally that you don't need a physical location to be able to do that kind of service for people. Especially now, like you can guide somebody to
Yeah.
fix a computer. You can guide somebody online. So I'm wondering, is that happening for you now, or what's the deal?
I do help a lot of people on online like this. Like when it comes down to the HAPS thing, even like there's a lot of my friends who are struggling with their audio and stuff, and I've offered to help them like remotely and just go onto the computer with their permission, obviously, and then from there just sort out
But not
the
not as a
audio.
service yet. Not as a service yet. I was just wondering, like, because if you're using your skill
No.
online, as far as like translating it online. What was usually in the physical world, like everything is I think I'm teaching online, so that used to be a much more physical thing. And before coronavirus or the COVID-19, people were very scared to go online and meet like this. I mean, I was not, but a lot of people were like,
Yeah.
no, online. I don't understand it. Like that's weird. Can you do that? Now they got yoga, personal trainers, yoga classes online. And I'm thinking it's going to translate to doctors, lawyers, to counseling services. So, what you're talking about sounds like something that can be totally
Sorry, the connection.
okay. That's okay. Yeah. Did you
Sorry,
get
the
some of what I was
connection's
saying?
kind of chopping. I don't want to interrupt anyone.
Oh no 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 no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I do apologize. I'm not trying to talk all over you guys. Yeah, you
No,
guys
go
are
ahead.
awesome, amazing, and it's an amazing broadcast. I just couldn't hear what you were saying. That last bit you
Oh,
were saying,
I, I
Jimmy.
was I was saying like what your skill, what you were talking about, what you're doing is something that can be translated obviously onto the online world, into the web. Like I said, I've seen people now doing, was it a personal yoga training online? So
Yeah.
what you are doing is something that can be translated online. And I'm just wondering if you've been doing that. That's why, because that's the way.
Oh,
If you
yeah.
cannot,
With my
yeah,
music stuff, I am. Yeah, with my music thing, I'm obviously translating that online and via YouTube and other places, just to get my music out there and work with, and also from word of mouth from a friend to another friend, and then from there I get like the singer-songwriters asking me, I've never sang before, can you help me with the project? I want to, I need a beat, I've never done this before. So then I'll tell them, like, obviously, like, get a vocalist, like a vocal coach and stuff, get that all confidence build up and stuff. And then obviously I send them the beat, and then obviously, they pay me depending on how much they can, willing to pay me. They'll pay me
absolutely.
for however many beats they need, and then
What would you got a
I'll get
link?
that and get the music out.
You got a link? Can you
It's
can
all
you
on my
make?
profile.
Oh,
It's
it's
all
in
on
your
my
profile.
profile.
Well, I'm saying if you could type it into the comment section, then we can just post it on here.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
I'm sure
yeah,
someone
I'm on
will
my
do that.
mobile, so it won't come up as a hyperlink. That's what I'm trying to say. But I
Okay,
will
okay.
send you my YouTube link.
Yeah,
That's one. And
I'm
the other
going
one
into
is this.
your.
So, Swift Beats, before I forget, of course, you mentioned IFTTT, which of course is if this, then that. Is that right? Something along those. Yeah, that's the website. If this,
If I
then
do
that.
this, if I do that, yeah.
Exactly, yeah, just to sort of, I say, square that circle, and it's basically an interface, isn't it? So if you say one thing,
Into it.
it'll do something else at that command, and it's really useful. It's something that's been growing for quite a while. What's great about it as well is you can build a database. So, for example, if I tweet out, it will keep a copy in an Excel spreadsheet of your latest tweet and all of your tweets. So it's really useful to create a database and things like that too. Yeah.
I've been posting a lot of on my profile, if you check, if you get a chance and stuff, about collaborating real-time audio jam sessions online.
Okay.
Like doing this in the cloud, because I've seen some low latency kind of software where you download the software and then basically using the ASIO kind of thing, which it's like an audio driver that you put it in there, and it just makes it low latency, so the lag of the audio and stuff.
Well, it sounds like you're certainly ahead of the curve compared to myself. I'm a user more than, say, a programmer, and I don't actually know how certain technologies work, but I do know they exist. For example, strangely, Microsoft's Mixer.com website and platform, that's obviously been sunset, but of course that was one key issue about it, is the fact that the latency was almost insignificant compared to other live streaming platforms. Of course, one place that's interested in that sort of technology is the betting world and online gambling. Why? Because of course, if you have an event, as you'll well know, and there have been scams in the outset of companies like Bet365, Betfair, these sort of companies that, you know, there's plenty more exist. And what would happen is there'd be an event, say in Asia, and if a goal was scored, it would take a good, maybe anything up to a minute for that to be broadcast to the end user here in the UK or anywhere for that matter. And in that 60 minutes, you've got someone on a cell phone, on a mobile digital device, saying a goal's just been scored to their friend in a betting shop, bookies in the UK, for example, and they place a bet on, knowing that the goal was scored moments ago, and then it will be announced and everyone will see it in the next 40 to 60 seconds, as an example. Obviously, the gambling world got onto that very quickly, and I think there's been a few court cases here and there. So yeah, this is very important. A lot of people would first think, so what does it matter, a bit of latency? So I'm just saying, obviously, which I'm sure you know already, Swift Beats, why such things are important.
Let's share this thing. Let's share. I want to hear this thing. Let's share this. What is this here? How do you share it?
What do you want to share there? What would you like to share? What you sharing? It's all being shared. Oh, I see. You're doing that. Right. Lovely. Am I still heard here?
Well, we don't hear the audio.
We don't, do we?
You don't hear the audio?
No, but we see some great visual graphic representation. No, you won't hear the audio because of the way your sound card is.
Let me do it again. Let me do it again.
You can.
Your setup and audio is connected to your mic.
There you go. Yeah. I got it. Here we go.
As you know, Swift Beats, the easy option to do this is to have a separate device.
Oh, what is that? Has it got advertisement coming on? It's paused. Yeah, I don't know what happened to it. Yeah. So anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's called a llama break, according to Haps. Is that right? The unofficial llama break, maybe. I think. Well, Swift Beats will know what I'm on about.
It's not an advertisement thing. It's just maybe the loading of the video or something. I don't know.
Yeah, well,
I've got to ask,
cool.
I've just got to ask. I mean, right now, I think you'll agree as a techie person as well. You know, I'm looking at the back end of this form right now. Everything's pixelated on the. You know, you can look at program local or in the cloud, as I was trying to explain to people earlier on. Yeah. So what we're looking at really, you know, is our 3 cameras going out to the world, but we're able to monitor it before it goes out to the world, certainly my own one. But I've never experienced on a platform, you know, the pixelation on the local mode that I'm getting with this. And I know it's all happening in the cloud and coming back to me, but I do think if it's confusing for someone like me or you, I think it's going to be very confusing for the average lay person, new user who's just started to embrace this technology. The worst scenario is when someone's never tried live broadcasting before and their first encounter is with Haps, because it isn't kind of how, you know, the workflow isn't necessarily understandable too easily. The technical flow isn't. And until you know that and sort of in your mind, if not on paper, have some sort of flow chart, it can be very confusing. And as I say, disconcerting, because right now, the broadcast here, as far as I'm concerned, it's like 1 pixel, right, for each camera, for you, me, and for Jimmy Heaven there. And it's not true, because if I look at the replay at the moment, which I'm doing here on my other devices, got a couple here just to monitor the platforms, it's absolutely perfect most of the time, which is...
I wanted to say something. I don't want to interrupt you. I was trying to put my finger up, but it didn't work. But anyway... yeah, for the average person, it would be a real, like, pull out your hair kind of thing, like stressful. But that's where the community comes in and steps in. Like, obviously, the people who have already used it, using the platform. Like, I'm always keep trying to find ways to, you know like how to use it, and you know, like new ways of using audio. Like I use Voice Meter, so it's like a virtual mixer on your Windows computer. And it enables me to control 1 channel, my mic, 1 channel, my desktop audio. So I'll be able to play high quality audio. And then on Haps, when I go live on the desktop, I can choose standard audio quality or high quality, and then I put high quality, and the audio is like, amazing HD audio.
Well, I
With the
understand.
pixelation thing, on your Google Chrome, there is a way to change the settings on there, because depending on your graphics card or whatever you're using, like for Windows, I'll just say NVIDIA or something like that, it could be that you might need to update the software on that, and then it makes it more smoother and clearer. And
In
number
Chrome.
two
In
is
Chrome.
that,
Well, as you know yourself, you have a compromise, don't you? You either have a compromise between speed and lesser quality if you want a higher speed, or somewhere in the middle, or the other extreme as well. You can have better quality but a bit more latency and all that stuff. Yeah.
but in Chrome there is a settings over there. I
Sure.
believe it's Chrome dash or hyphen or something like that // and then it's flags, and then when you go there you can actually change the settings to make the render quality of your GPU and
Yep.
the other, that's like your graphical kind of thing,
Sure.
and the CPU.
Well, I
And
do
it loads up
understand
quicker.
that. I
Is
just
it in
again,
appearance? Is it in where is it in appearance?
In your settings.
I'm in the settings right now. So am I sharing it? Yeah,
But
I
it
guess
will
I'm.
restart your browser if you change something. It will ask you to restart the browser. So I don't want you to do it.
exactly.
Okay.
The thing about that is, though, again, is for the average user, and I know, as we've said, we're at kind of at the moment, it's early adoption when it comes to apps, although they've had a big influx of people as soon as it was announced at the end of 2020 that Periscope will be at sunset around about springtime. Oh, who's joining? I think,
What is that? That's me. I'm not even there.
right.
Well, how could it be me? Oh, is it this page? Can we get rid of that? I don't know how to get rid of it. That's always been a problem. How to get rid of this thing?
You see this? The thing is, again, as I was going to say, Swift Beats, you might call me old school.
Wow.
So we're all muted at the moment, apart from me. I unmuted myself, but we did all go mute. And the interesting thing is that I've invited another user who wanted to join us, Colin. He could be here, but at the moment, it's not showing up that he's joined us. So everyone's going to be muted.
Oh, it's Colin. Got it.
But aliens are arriving to capture Jimmy. Yes, but the point is he's not showing up as having joined yet in the broadcast studio. So his audio is joining. He's joining. And this just, when I say it's shocking, I know it's early stages, but it's all been done before. And it's all been refined before. So my thoughts are,
Colin, not Colin. Jimmy, you're muted. Unmute your mic.
Martin, I just muted you because I'm wondering if it was coming from you. Hold on, I'm unmute Martin. Try speaking, Martin. What was that? Now he's muted.
I'm not muted. No, I was just making sure that my mouth was moving before you could properly hear me. There you are. Just to confuse things. But no, so the point I'm making is we've already gone as far as. I'm listening.
It's you. The echo's coming.
The echo's coming from me. Oh.
Switch over the switch the audio over to your cell phone. Come on. Here. Try this. I'm muting here. Now speak.
Oh, I know, because he's watching the
Oh, no.
He's watching the video on there, so the sound is looping. Maybe.
No, it's you too. It's everybody.
We're gonna let Swift Beats talk for a while now.
I'm using it.
No, this is, as you can see, it's doing it even when we're all muted.
So can you get this kind of sound, Swift Beats? Can you get this kind of sound? Because I'm digging this sound, this psychedelic 70s kind of deal. I'm a heavy metal singer, hard rock heavy metal singer, so I can really get into this. Oh, here we go. It's aliens.
something, and then that way it'll cut out the. You know what it's like trying to beat the feedback there, Swift Beats. I know what I'm going to try and do though.
Space age Jimi Hendrix, dude. Is he? I can't hear you. You're muted. You're muted, Martin. You're muted.
We've already reached the stage where we've, for want of a better words, perfected live video already. So for us to have these issues on a new platform, you know what I'm saying, Swift Beats. I've said it before. You know, if you're going to start to we're not going to get too far with this. Right, let's. Just wow. Okay.
So where's Colin? He says he can't get in. Has he been invited? You're on mute, Martin. I can't hear you if you're on mute. All of you are. You're all on mute.
So Colin was uninvited after he had been originally invited because of all the feedback, because he says we were getting. But as you insist you want him invited, you can certainly see that he has been re-invited now. But I didn't see the point because we still have these ongoing issues. If you want it,
it's all fun. It's all fun and games. Let's see it. So, Colin, are you coming in or what? Oh, what happened to did Swiftbeat disappear?
I think he did the wise move. Yeah.
He's still there. He's still there. He's not. He's not. Okay. Yeah. Well, Swiftbeat, it was nice meeting you. Nice talking to you. Talk to you again soon. Okay. So, I'm here alone. Well, even if I'm here alone, it's going to make that noise. Oh no, it's not. Hello? Oh wow, it's not making that noise. Okay, Martin, I think it's gone. It's gone. Okay, we're free from the feedback. It's kind of cool though.
Take another sip is probably best.
It's very 60s, 1960s, late 60s, early 70s. It was very cool.
Good. Thanks again to Swift Beats. We'll definitely catch up again, certainly here across apps in one way or the other in time. And also to Colin for trying. He's always got the option of trying again.
Yeah, is he coming in or what? Is he coming or not?
Well,
Colin, what's up? The second time you've been invited.
I don't know if he's going to. There's a big metaphorical drum roll. Can I say earlier on to Chris? Thank you for your comments, Chris, about the lottery numbers and how it would be useful indeed if there was some sort of delay with all this technology. Yeah, indeed, someone should know what the lottery numbers are before they're drawn, and then you can go and pick the ones that you know to be the winners. But I've always said that regarding people in the United States of America. In the UK, so we're like at least 5 hours ahead of them, and I don't know what's happened here, Jimmy, but it does seem like when I'm talking.
Oh, wait. Okay,
I won't say anything. I won't. No, I'll shut up. There we go.
Colin's here.
How's it going? How is it going?
What's up with the feedback?
This is crazy. It's gone. I knew it couldn't be from me because I've got all my visuals telling me what's going on with the audio. Good afternoon, guys. How's it going? Apart from the feedback, obviously. Does one of you guys have two lots of camera and it's picking the audio up off your webcam or something and it's feeding back?
No, I think we're done and dusted for the day there, Colin. It is a bit of an ouch, isn't it?
Oh, crikey. Jimmy doesn't seem to have any feedback when he's talking.
No.
Well, that's not true. It does come in and out. But this is
I'm gonna
really
leave you
this
to it, Jimmy.
1950s, 60s sci-fi horror thing is really cool.
Okay.
But so what Colin, we don't get like a picture of you? What's the deal? You're hiding? Are you like
Am I hiding?
like a sleep sack hiding underground?
I'm in the middle. No, I've got some various things going on in the background, so I'm having to just put the Haps logo up at the moment. But it's great to meet you guys. It's great to meet you guys.
Yeah. So you're in England too? Is that the deal?
Yeah, I'm in England too. I'm in Lincolnshire.
Okay.
But like Swift Beats there, you've got a great community here. You've made some great comments about the quality of the Haps platform and it not necessarily being for the, let's say, not the professionals, but a lot of people out there are gaining a lot of traction. A lot of people out there are building a great community. There's a lot of people out there willing to help, willing to put the time in.
I agree with this, Colin, but I get the sense that people are, how can I put it, afraid to just say it as it is. And it is concerning because what that means then is that there's a handful of people, if not less, out there using a platform that are indirectly led to think that maybe it's just them, their technology, and perhaps have or expectations that are too high, that sort of thing. I left it till I could before actually really vocalizing just how concerning it is to me, shall we say? Because I felt that while we all want to smile and be very positive, constructive criticism never hurt. But also, don't forget the first mouse never got the cheese, and that's my point. This isn't the first of incarnation of live video streaming. It's been here for many years. And
I mean the Blab platform. Were you on the Blab platform way back when?
Which one? Sorry.
The Blab platform. There was a blab.tv.
No,
unfortunately. But what I do have to say before I go, because I say it is a brief, I wasn't even going to spot in, but I've got that much stuff going on. But the Haps team, they're quite open. They're asking people, any problems you're experiencing, please let us know, and they're trying to address it. They're doing a regular update on a weekly basis where they're all feedback.
Well, Martin is a very good guy to be suggesting.
Ouch. This is why I followed both Martin and yourself, Jimmy. I mean, you're obviously great guys. You know what you're talking about. I just wanted to sort of defend the Haps platform and say that the Haps team are there wanting.
I think it's great.
Feedback.
I love the regular updates, Colin. I love the regular updates, with Peter and Pablo. Absolutely.
Exactly.
I just would have thought that the fundamentals would have been fixed before even in the public domain, quite frankly. And that is really the frustration, if nothing else. As I say, there are so many basic errors, shall we say. I'll give you one in there still, and I haven't highlighted it, and I'm surprised no one else has. I don't have a problem with it, but if you're on your iOS device or you are looking at your profile there, you have a number of, let me just see here, because it could be a little more easier to navigate through, but if you've got at the bottom there a menu called Discover, Feed, Go Live, Activity, and Profile. Well, when you're on your device there, and you might be quickly wanting to get live because something's happening, a fire somewhere. You're quickly pressing Go Live, and it hasn't happened. So you press it again before the screen refreshes, just to make sure you pressed it, and it will come up at the earliest opportunity because your slow internet connection, for example, or that's a possibility of why you're not seeing the screen immediately. Problem is, if you're on your iOS device and you are pressing Profile, if you press Profile once, it will go to your profile. If it doesn't come up, you might multiply. If you press it multiple times, every other time it will go to your feed. It will actually go to a different menu or area of their app. So something like that, I would have thought would have been ironed out before it was launched. But anyway, no one's picked up on it, but hopefully will. That's the same as trying to edit comments, which then they've now got on top of on the mobile devices. Every time you made a comment, if you need to edit it, as soon as you hit edit, it throws up. Certainly again on iOS. What are you using, Bo? iOS or Android on your mobile side?
On the mobile side, I'm using Android, but I'm actually on my desktop at the moment on my PC tower. But the problem I've got is the low bandwidth with my internet. I've had nothing but trouble with it, and that's another reason why sometimes I tend to just go with a Haps logo on here.
Sure. Are you out about broadcasting as well when you can? Are you going to be mobile broadcasting?
That's not my cup of tea, shall we say? I mean,
how about a picture
from home?
Sure.
How about a picture?
The reason I asked, Colin, is because if you had intended to go mobile, then the suggestion of obtaining a 3G, 4G, even 5G MiFi device, and it's a great one that I can share. I've shared it already with people, info, and you're probably aware of it. This one right here called the Netgear MR100, and it's on my screen now. I'm really happy with this for the simple reason. The one thing this does is, in addition to changing your 3, 4 or 5G to Wi-Fi, like most of the cheaper and more affordable devices for around about $30 new these days. If you look at continue to look, you see it has the option of a USB-C output to feed your desktop with an internet connection, or it changes your mobile internet to a LAN connector as well. And the reason that's good, the reason that's great, is because not only can you just use it instead of your internet at home if it's very slow, but you can use it as well as there is a VPN, a virtual private network software out there called Speedify. That's SP, I think, double E or triple EDY. You can Google speedify.com, and if you introduce that into your desktop computer and run through that, it bonds together multiple internet activity.
I like that concept.
That might be an idea for you.
It is. It's a great idea. I mean, when my internet actually went down 100%, I think it was about a fortnight ago.
Yeah.
Using the Android device, I made it into a wireless hotspot.
Correct.
I contacted my internet provider, and they said, "Look, we'll throw you 50 gig of data on there. Use your mobile as a wireless hotspot." And that seemed to do the job, but it's only 4G. Now, obviously, from what you're saying, I'm not like tech savvy as you guys, but maybe 5G is the way to go, and use 5G as well.
4G is very good. It's good enough for this, I think. And again, if you're bonding as well, 2 signals or more together, and you've done exactly, obviously, you've tethered your device. But again, it's not as efficient, shall we say. It's not as tweaked as a device that's dedicated to being a mobile router. And the other thing as well is that you can you've got your Wi-Fi that you can bring into your device, the LAN connection, and also the USB internet as well from one of these dongles. And actually, if you have the software, it's multiple internet connectivity. Well, I think they've tested it up to 20 connections all at the same time. The people that designed it at speedify.com in the US. So, of course, and again, mobile internet, what I was going to say, of course, is the price of it these days is coming down all the time. On average, we pay about £17-18, again, 22.50 US dollars per month these days for unlimited data. So it's all worth considering. What are you going to be using Haps for? I mean, I'll definitely check out your profile. I may have even bumped into it previously, briefly, but I haven't had a chance to check while we're chatting here. But have you got a specific reason for wanting to embrace live video?
Well, I came onto Haps initially to build people's awareness of who I am and what I do. But ironically, I mean, I'm still working. I work from home. Okay, so I work with clients on Skype, mindset, life coaching, basically a creature comfort campaign, which I'm not going to go into detail here. We could sit here for hours discussing that, but maybe we'll talk about it another night.
Something briefly. Tell us briefly. That's interesting.
Briefly.
At least, yeah, please.
Okay, so creature comfort consultant. We spend our lives on our creature comforts campaign. We're trying to keep the wolves from the door. We're putting the food in our mouths. We're putting the roof over our heads. Basically, that's what we're doing. We're moving towards the comfort side of life, and we're moving away from discomforts. So we spend most of our time on our Creature Comforts campaign. When we're not on that, we spend a small percentage of our time enjoying the fruits of our labors. And when we're not doing that, we're coping, putting a coping strategy in there, dealing with loss, the loss of a loved one, etc. So basically, we're all on a campaign to have a great life.
I'd love to speak to you further about that at some point. It's a I say story. It's a multiple broadcasts alone, obviously, as you're aware there, Colin. But it sounds to me like you're talking on a level where a lot of people don't have the conversations, and it's also like on a need to know basis. It's when they need to, and often, and they're not prepared for those moments in this mortal existence. Whatever stage you're at in life. And I think these conversations, it's essential to be had, particularly now. As an example, we've had a pandemic now since spring-ish 2020 in the UK.
Oh, yes.
A bit earlier over moving east around the globe, and then further west it's obviously developed in the US, and we know what's been going on there, both politically and pandemic-wise. The same here, again, across the UK.
Yeah.
But isn't it interesting? Mental health has been broken as a support system, for years, easily a handful of decades. But no one has questioned it because the system hasn't broken at any point. But we have reached a stage now in our existence. We know there's going to be there's already a huge problem. It is going to be overloaded if it isn't already in all areas. And I think one key point is where we need to begin is closer to home as communities and neighbours. Yeah. And again, I mean, it's almost too late. It's never too late, obviously, but you get what I'm saying. This should have happened years ago. A lot of areas, certainly again across England, if nowhere else, I know has lost even the sense of community. People don't speak to their neighbours. They just have no idea who's living.
That ended in the 70s. That ended in the 70s.
Yeah, everybody knew everybody would smile in the street. I mean, my dad would tell me tales of going into town and leaving the door unlocked. They didn't need to do it.
Absolutely.
Everybody knew everybody.
And people would come into your house. The people that know you would just come into your house, say, "Hey, I'm in." And the car you would leave unlocked. It was a bunch but that's exactly what the masters want anyway. That's exactly what they want.
Now you have a digital doorbell.
That's what they want.
Ring.com.
They want you divided. They want you to be. They want you to be dependent on the master of the state, the people who know the least about anything, who've never worked a day in their life, who've never communicated with real people in their own life, and they want you to believe them. Yeah, that's the case.
Colin, is the website on your profile for your Creature Comforts campaign?
Oh, he checked out. I think he fell out.
I think he may have done. He'll still be listening, I'm sure, and so other people. So we can actually look at. NHS never has any money spent on wrong things like non-clinical.
Oh, he's back. He's back. He fell out.
Excellent. He's back with us. He's just joining. There we are.
Or whether there's the powers that be stepped in. But this is great. I did a couple of broadcasts with Lucia Ibar, and she's one of the moderators for HAPS, and she's really trying to bring this whole mindset thing to the table and make people more aware of the mental health issues. There's at least 3 people on HAPS that are trying to bring this to the table. So I think it's a time when everybody is starting to recognize the impact that this COVID is having. As I say, we're on
sorry, I missed the name.
We're dealing with loss, and loss is the thing that's happening with the COVID. We're losing the ability to hug our friends, hug our relations. Sorry, go on, I was talking over you.
There's a big delay, so he's probably started talking already. Now I've started talking because there's a big delay at the moment, Colin. So sorry about the interruption there. It wasn't intentional, but this is a bit crazy. It's one reason I didn't say this just as a side issue before I forget and I have the opportunity to say when we're talking to Swift Beats earlier. It's one reason why you see everything's here in this in the cloud at the moment on the broadcast studio on HAPS. but I prefer to use separates, so have a separate Skype call, which is reliable, coming into my vision switcher, going out to my encoder, to the world, that sort of thing. And it's one reason, it's a bit like all-in-one hi-fi. Hi-fi used to be separates, as Jimmy mentioned, the 70s, let's say, and then it became MIDI hi-fis or mini hi-fis, where the tuner was with the cassette player and the amplifier, and even in some cases it did have a small turntable. Trouble is, though, when the cassette player motor went, you couldn't have it go for repair without losing the functionality of the whole machine. You couldn't continue listening to the radio while the cassette was being repaired. If it was all in one, that's one disadvantage.
Integrated.
If it couldn't be repaired, then again you had a half a machine working, so you either had to throw the working half away with the half that didn't work, or keep it with functionality that wasn't there anymore.
Like combined washing machine dryers.
There you go, exactly. So
who's Gary Crowley? Who's Gary Crowley?
So Jimmy, you're going to have to remember. Oh dear, Jimmy's new to this, clearly, Colin.
Gary Crowley.
Wasn't Gary Crowley the TV presenter as well, isn't he?
Well, somebody says that you sound like him.
Oh well, why doesn't Gary Crowley sound like me?
Is it a positive thing or a negative thing?
Maybe he does. Yes.
Is that Oh, look at that! Oh, interviewing many of the most significant bands' days, including Sex Pistols, The Clash, and Jam. Oh, that's a positive thing. That means
it was Gary Crowley. I seem to relate Gary Crowley to the BBC and possibly BBC Radio London. Something tells me, or is it another name?
You're right, BBC. I'm looking it up right here. BBC.
Right, yeah. I have listened to his show by chance from time to time. I think on BBC Radio.
He's 10 years older than you. He's 10 years.
We're going slightly off topic here, guys. So I'm going to step down from the side and let's catch up again soon.
Please do indeed catch up with us again soon. We're here at the moment on Friday.
It's been a pleasure.
It has hit.
Okay.
Thank you.
And if you just one final point is how can people check out your Creature Comforts campaign?
If they just jump on Haps and shoot me a message, or go to my website, which is infiniteoptions.co.uk.
Infinite Options, excellent.
Yes.
If you can type that in, because we're broadcasting on YouTube and Facebook too, so if you can type that in a comment, that'd be good.
Yes, I can do that. Bear with me
we can
1 second.
Share that.
Hey, Jimmy?
Yes, I'm here. Say it. Speak.
You were saying something. Thanks very much, Colin.
No problem. You take care.
Absolutely. Thank you. Brilliant. That is, well, again, what Colin's doing clearly is invaluable for people.
What does it say? Infiniteoptions.co.uk. Colin Porter. Thank you. Yes. Martin, what you were asking me? What are you asking me?
No, I was just saying to you, Jimmy, that what Colin was talking about just didn't even touch on a micro sort of, an atom worth really in the bigger picture. It's just what we should all be learning and aware about so much earlier on in life, and it's ironic because everyone in the West, it's almost like they're dissuaded from talking about such topics as illness, and whether it's mental, physical, death. It's going to happen to us all and to people around us, before us, potentially before we leave our own mortal coils. No one is ever, in general, educated. Certainly in the UK, when you just go to your secondary school and further education, unless you're studying, I would suggest the topic specifically going to college, university, then until such times in your life when someone becomes ill, if not yourself, you don't have these conversations. Whereas, ironically, I've always said, the third world and the lifestyle that people have, say, in Africa compared to the UK, or India compared to the UK, living more closer to the land, literally, I feel that they're far more aware and appropriately conditioned to deal with such situations. Someone mentioned a key thing as well I wanted to say when we've touched on mental health is it really frustrates me. It always has done for many, many years when I hear people saying that this person's mentally ill or they're suffering, blah, 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 and talking about others. I've always said, in so many words, we're all mentally ill. No matter, it doesn't matter from this degree, however minuscule, up to the max. Yeah, right. Everybody, for a start, if you don't like spiders, arachnophobia, any phobia, it's technically most of the time a mental illness, if not all the time.
Unless you got bit by a spider.
Okay, but it still affects you mentally, doesn't it? Once your physical wound has healed, okay, you don't want to go through.
Okay, it's okay, Martin. It's okay. Calm down. So tell us about it. What's wrong? What's the problem? Let's heal. What's going on? What's going on in your life?
So the problem, as I say, with the mental side of things is that what someone else mentioned, and I hadn't heard it before. For the first time I heard about a week ago, listening to another radio show, and this professional reminded people that, this thing about these people are mentally ill, i.e. the others are not. It's kind of it's a fallacy, yeah. And the sooner we recognise that, the better. And again, with what I was just saying before, people only often recognise mental illness or these discussions are had when someone close to them, if not themselves, are suffering and need the conversation there and then. But why wait? The whole of society at the moment is struggling.
Hold on a second. There's a lot of people that are a lot of people that the system have labeled mentally ill that aren't mentally ill too. So I'd like to address that too. A lot of people
now you're touching on something, aren't you?
No, really.
I had personal experience of that when approximately.
No, Martin, you're mentally ill. Believe me, you're 100%. You are not one of those people I'm talking about.
Well, we all are. I've just explained it. I'd rather not introduce any light jokes at all on this topic because I just don't think it's appropriate. Because I mean we can. I sure I can laugh at that, but it's not productive. I
think the system that tries to put us in a box is wrong, and that's another thing that creates what you're calling this mental illness too. They're not giving you the
professionals 14 months ago. You yielded the way moments ago, intentionally or not, to remind me to state that 14 months ago I was working with professionals who are intent on proving that I wasn't sound in mind to look after a minor, my son. So he was, some would say, kidnapped. He was taken from myself and his mother because, as I say, some sick individuals, and I use that sparingly, that term, because of what we're talking about, but their only way to deal with the matter was to prove, they had to prove their case by
disproving you. By disproving you.
By proving with no facts that, I had an issue myself.
Yeah.
And at that time I didn't have, but I can tell you something, going through that process, it certainly changed my mind in certain ways when it comes to dealing with authority in that way. We're talking about social services, welfare in the UK. Again, it's a huge topic that I'd love to discuss with people at some point in the future. Now's not too appropriate to discuss it appropriately. And I also like to distance myself from that personal emotion, because as soon as I do, I still see just how out of order these people in authority have been.
Absolutely.
Why? Because they've been able to get away with it for years.
Martin, it's just a job. The problem is that it's just a job.
You said it.
That's the biggest problem.
I went to a family court, and I'll keep this brief because we have sidetracked. I went to a family court. But what was very clear was they were all conniving, contriving, and basically they work as a team. Even the judge, in my opinion, from what
Lounge lizards, the people that you are fighting against, like the lawyers and the legal system,
they will tell you that
they spend their days with the same judge. They have lunch with that judge.
Precisely, and of course I was
lounge lizards
because I don't usually find myself in that situation. I was only in that situation because of someone I was associated with who had had dealings with such individuals in the past, and so I was effectively being proved guilty by association by these unsavory individuals. Part of me doesn't have an issue with that. Why? Because in the long term, everything will come to light. We have a child now, my son. When he grows older, he will want to know why he's been placed where he is if he hasn't been returned to his natural parents by
Well,
them.
first he will blame you until he sees the truth himself. First thing he will blame you.
Why would he now you got to be careful with your terminology, but
no, this is the truth, because he'll be conditioned by that time to blame you.
Now you just again you're giving me plenty of ammo here. I don't.
Of course, I know what I'm talking about. God damn it. Hey, Colin says here, like a Colin part, I'd like to be part of that future discussion. The Masters, absolutely, that's true.
Well, let me tell you. To pick up on your points, because you move on. You see, that's what often happens, Jimmy. We move on too fast. We need to slow down with this. It's very complicated, so we're not going into all the details. But what you just said, right? Someone's going to be conditioned, and they're going to blame me as a father. They're going to blame me.
Absolutely.
For something I had nothing to do with, in terms of ensuring that he was, taken away from his natural parents. But wait a second. Surely the person he's looking after, which happens to be a half aunt, a family half aunt, so he wasn't adopted.
Try not to get so many. Try to get not so many details in it. Yeah.
Surely, that person will be making sure, because remember, what's the reason you put yourself in a position to look after a child, whoever you are, whether your name's Madonna and you travel all the way to Africa from the USA to collect a child? Now, whatever we do on this planet, the first thing that's involved with any of our actions in general is selfishness, no matter how small. But that's not important. What's important is at the other end of that sentence and paragraph, which is intent. We have to be selfish even when our intentions are for no other reason than to assist another party, right?
Absolutely, it's fine. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
So when you want to give money to a charity, the first thing is selfishness, in my opinion. Anyone disagree with me, please do. Colin, we will absolutely have a chat about all this in the future if you so wish to do. I'd be more than happy to do that. It seems quite an ideal topic from what we've briefly been discussing today and what you're involved with, and I'll look into that further, of course. But as I say, okay, when you want to give money to charity, what's the first thing is that you want to do it. It makes you feel good.
Well, it's a tax write-off.
Not for the average person, Jimmy, who's in the street who you ask $1 for, or £1, okay, or a euro or a yen, whatever it is.
Sure.
The first thing is makes them feel good. They're doing something.
Absolutely. Selfish.
Chemical boost. Wow, I've just given money to charity. I'm good. I'm better than that other person who hasn't. Right. Then, of course, when they do give to charity, they've got to decide which charity to give to, which is going to benefit.
The Jesus complex.
Right. So, as you can hear, all the way along these points in a path, in a journey, there are all these questionable nodes. And I'm just, so anyway, as I say, it's very complicated. And here we are now really drilling down, and I didn't intend to. So getting back to the point, you used the word, a child is going to blame his father because he didn't grow up with his father, or up until a certain point he wasn't with his father. Well, why would he be blaming a father when his initial and current carer, okay, the person looking after him for a number of months, maybe a handful of years, surely they're doing it for one good reason only, and that is for the best interests of that child, whoever that child is, and whatever you're, however you're related to one another, you've chosen that role as an adult. So you want the best for that child. So surely you're going to be, in an age appropriate way, at every step of his journey or her journey, the child, you're going to be telling them, and certainly answering any questions that they have. You're going to be explaining to them the truth, in as much as, why potentially their parents, their father, shouldn't be blamed for anything. Yeah. And particularly when that person knows that they shouldn't be. Blame isn't the word, reasons you can have, excuses if you prefer. Blame, that's a very extreme one. I'm happy for someone to allege that, to put that to me. But I can tell you now, there's one thing: when I get run over by a bus tomorrow, possibly, who knows? You never know what happens. Okay.
I'll carry on the broadcast. Don't worry.
I'm confused. I was just coming to the end of what I was saying. When, you know, as I say, if I was taken from this mortal coil immediately now, there is no guilt because, unfortunately, it's one of those cases where all the evidence sadly points to the fact that professionals have acted inappropriately because they've got away with it for so long. Simple as that.
Can I
I'm
ask
looking
you?
at the comments.
The surrogate, or the people looking after your child. Do they have any kind of monetary incentive or government? Was it subsidy for looking after your child? Is there a funding for that? I'm just wondering.
They do have help when it comes to financing the what is
There you
called a
go.
guardian.
There you go. There you go.
Well, no,
There you go.
you would be wrong, and so would I, to suggest that that's the reason they took on that role. Because I tell you now, I have other beliefs as to the main and the fundamental reason. So we're not going to go there right now. But I wouldn't suggest that a prime objective was to ensure that their bank balance became higher by taking on the responsibility of looking after a child, because they could have done it much sooner if that was their sole intent or their ultimate intent. They could have taken any child and adopted them or looked after them, fostered them.
Yeah, but it's blood relations a little bit easier, they'd think.
Well, that's another topic, as I say, in another conversation. But anyhow, look at all these comments. Some people don't always do what is best for the child. Well, Colin, I'd feel out of order if I was alone saying that. So this is why I don't need to make these statements, because
That's a don't yet say comment, yeah.
I don't need to say that, because it's an obvious one that I would be accused of just jumping to because I can and because of the way I'm emotionally attached to this particular child, my son. But Collins said it for me. Okay. Of course they're not doing the best for the child, in my opinion, but I wouldn't be so rude to say that. Yeah. Some people feel unfulfilled, particularly women, if they don't have children.
It's funny that it's funny that the system would be gamed, or the system, the people working the system, that would be willing to give, even if it's another, to another relative, that instead of assisting you in making sure that you can take care of the child.
Well,
it's
oh, Jimmy, Collins is on his way. I'm going to comment that you made me laugh because of your comment there, Jimmy. Again, it's just another nail in the coffin for everyone else other than myself. Exactly. Collins has had to fly, but he does, as we saw, he said that some people don't always do what is best for the child that they're looking after or proposing to look after. But Jimmy, you just said it as well. Okay. So yeah, I can't disagree with what you're saying there.
good.
Great. But yeah, we'll definitely initiate conversations along these lines, because I actually, shortly after, I think it was after my experience, I totally coincidentally came across a video on Facebook by a mixed race guy living in the Northamptonshire area of England. Really can't remember his name. I think if I really had to, I could find it. So we'll see. But he'd been through the family court system trying to ensure that his child stayed with him, and the child was taken. And again, he was saying how the judge was intent on the child being removed from his care, etc., etc. And
in America, they go after blue-eyed and green-eyed children.
Well, again, that's
It doesn't matter about the parents, because they can make money on that.
Right. Okay.
Child services.
Right.
Corrupt and evil.
Well, as I say to you, the welfare services, the professionals involved here, made some huge errors. They even mentally abused my child at one point on one day. And please do question. I mean, I'm waiting for them to bring a judgment towards me. Or
the whole situation is mental abuse for a child. The whole situation is mental abuse for a child.
It was for no. But specifically because he was, I think, relatively well cared for by his foster parents until he was, finally placed somewhere else, where he is now by a court. a family court who, again, I think have acted very inappropriately, because they acted inappropriately based on information that they were given that is, or lies. Let's put it like that. No, not truth. A lot of information. But the point I was trying to make is that on one day I was going to visit my son, and he was already used to me visiting a couple of times a week on these particular dates. And because I was late, I knew I was traveling there, and the train was late. I had to take 3 trains, a good hour and a half to hour 45 minutes each way, to meet up with him for a couple of hours each day, twice a week. And what happened was, as I was nearing there, and I knew that I was getting close to 10 a.m. and I should have been there, I called them and said, look, I'm going to be a bit late, but please, ensure that he waits there. It was a very special day as well for him. And I wanted to ensure that he had the opportunity of seeing me on that day as well, as it was special for both of us, but particularly him. And when I arrived, I'd been told, no, you know our rules. You were later than 15 minutes. I think I was 19 minutes late, maybe only 16. But anyway, he had to leave. Do you know something, though? He hadn't left. They'd clearly kept him somewhere else in the building. What they do is they wouldn't have wanted to send him away from the building, because if I was heading there and I was a bit delayed and then he was exiting with his, at the time, carer, if we bumped into each other in the street, they didn't want anything like that to happen. So what they would do, these professionals, thinking that I was stupid and didn't know, is obviously until I arrived, they kept the people there. And then while I was there in a room being told that he wasn't there, they were exiting and going back to where his home at the time was. And I know this. Do you know why? Because they have a system where everyone has to sign in and out of the building. But on that particular occasion, when I signed in, I noted that him and his carer hadn't signed out. And I was told that they'd left. Blatantly, someone looked me in the eyes like this and said, no, they have left the building. Even though 2 days later, when I met his carer again for the next scheduled meeting with my son, she told me that she had signed out. So she did it after I arrived. What more evidence do you want as corruption and conniving, collusion, whatever you want to say? And that's Tower Hamlets Borough Council in London, UK. And there's a lot more to it, as I say, that's on paper. I just haven't had the time to follow it up yet. And well, some of the stuff is being certainly followed up by, should we say, another party involved. And you don't need to be a rocket scientist to work out that as well as a father, my son has a mother. And yeah, so that's where we're at the moment. I'm going to leave it there because I feel like it's sort of overtaken our broadcast, but in a good way, because as I say, we've got to catch up with Colin and start talking a bit more down to earth and about more relevant matters, quite frankly. I mean, it was great to talk digitally earlier on, but you know what? It all comes back to analog, doesn't it? Real life, and us being humans that come here from the same place and end up dying and going back to the same place. Oh, goodness me, that's another topic too. Anyone else still there?
Wait a second.
Yeah.
I think the digital world is a little bit underrated because here's the deal.
Yeah.
Even though we're not physically in the same, 1 to 2, 3 meters circumference of each other, we can totally connect through the internet. Now, I don't know if you believe in whether it be fortune telling, magic, all these people would label it superstitious crafts. There's a way to connect through the internet because as long as you realize that time and space and distance is not an obstacle, we are able to connect, and that's what we are doing. Do you understand that, everybody?
Yeah. It's very interesting you say that, Jimmy. I mean, you're now sort of making me think about those conversations that we have where everybody's stating that, you know, it's great, this planet Earth and the sun and the moon and the stars. And this whole universe that that we live in. But
it's amazing.
But actually, what people forget is that each and every one of us is part of that universe and that energy.
Absolutely.
You know? So again, a whole new conversation. I'd like to say that just while I've been chatting away here, I have, for some, excuse me, very totally unknown reason, lost all of my technical backup here. Luckily, but it's actually working okay. But yeah, definitely, the internet connectivity here said goodbye, and it's about to fall over, which is probably at the best time, really, because we've been here for about over 94 minutes. Crazy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we might as well cut it off now because we don't want to run out of things to talk about next week.
After bringing up, honestly, being, I say, reminded, provoked by the chat for the last 20 minutes, certainly with what Colin had to touch on with supporting people in a time of need. Wow, I think we've got plenty of content to ensure that HAPS is the place to come back to and join in the conversation at some point, people.
If anybody's got some lottery numbers, I'll take them.
Can I just say that much earlier on, I didn't get a chance because I think you were talking and responding to our first guest, and it was Jason Wallace who gave us a bit of support there. Always appreciated, very much appreciate that, Jason Wallace. So thank you very much for that. Jimmy, I hope you have a good old week, as always, until we're here on Friday next week. Do you know what? We're finishing. It's 11 minutes past the hour. I've just looked at the clock.
Oh, yeah, 1:11. There you go.
So
hey, bye, Chris. You have a good day, too.
Lovely. Chris is leaving as well. People are just listening, I think, at the moment, which is great. Thank you very much. Yeah, and he's on Twitter as well. There you go. Right. I'd forgotten about that, Chris. And again, everyone, if you want to bring us your anecdotes and views and all that in the future, then please continue to share, follow us here on ShineCast, and don't hesitate if we're not talking about something and you want to sort of bring up a certain topic, suggestion. Well, do join us. Jimmy, have you finished that drink before we go? Final thing.
I'm eating nuts too.
You're eating nuts, right?
Eating nuts. Where's my bottle?
It's crazy. I'm looking at you right now as you're coming into me. Picture's awful. I'm looking at you on the replay. It's just
a very inexpensive bottle of Chianti, but it tastes wonderful.
Awesome. Look, you've got someone commenting there in your own mother tongue. It seems.
Well, my mother tongue is English, Martin. I just happen to be bi or trilingual. Oh yeah, okay, here she goes. Genki dayo. Genki dayo. Who's that? Genki. Who's this? Let me see who's making this comment here.
Right.
Who is this?
That'll be your Facebook user.
No, I'm looking here. Let's see who's making a comment here. It just says Facebook loser, but it's not a user. It's when it comes. Shikoku shimakutte da 80. Oh, 80. This is a jazz singer.
Wow.
Yeah, I used to work I was a jazz singer too, and I was working in a jazz bar. And this is one of the singers that very beautiful girl used to sing at one of the bars that I worked at. So yeah.
Awesome stuff.
Hello, 80. Jimmy. How you doing? Oh, we're leaving now, so yeah.
Just share, and follow, and join us the next time. You'll get a notification if you do. Certainly on Facebook as well. Check us out. ShineCast is the page, and I thank you, Jimmy. Until next time, I think it's goodbye from you. Yes.
Cheers. I'll see you next week on Friday again, or Saturday here. It's Saturday morning here, so Friday.
It is, isn't it?
Friday evening there, yeah.
You're so ahead of us. Oh, it's just cutting out there as we're saying goodbye. That's Jimmy Heaven, everyone, in Nagoya in Japan. Almost.
Yep. Cheers.
Cheers as he cuts off there. Once again, everyone, thank you for joining us here until the next broadcast in 7 days' time. That's what it's planned for. On Friday, what is that? February, around about the 13th. Have I got that right? Something like that. Stay safe, look after yourselves, and that's all from this week's ShineCast. Bye-bye. Right. Well, we certainly learnt a lot from that broadcast, and even prior to the broadcast, and the technicalities and stuff like that. If I press this button here, I think Jim is still just in the background there on the line, and I'm going to have a chat with him now. There you go. Thanks, Jim. Mute myself. Thanks, Jimmy. Right, we're out of here, and we'll chat
Okay,
soon.
bye.
Very soon. Bye.
Where's the titles? The titles haven't been rolling yet?